Excuse me, everyone.
Yeah.
Come on, don't keep me in suspense. Where did you find him? How in the world did you find him?
All right, you know that computer list of names that Paul Kendall and Maggie came up with?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of computer network and some contacts that I have around the country. I was able to eliminate all but a few of the Paul Kendalls. Then I came up with the real Paul Kendall, the man that threatened you down in San Carlos.
Where is he?
In a little place called Azur de la Mer.
I beg your pardon?
It's a little village in the south of France.
What on earth is he doing there?
Well, apparently living out his new life with his new family. At least that's what he tells me.
You mean you actually spoke to him?
Yes, just this afternoon. And I was talking to him about why I tracked him down there, and he was surprised and very concerned.
I'll just bet.
Dorian, I had to believe him. I mean, he assured me that he left the days in San Carlos far behind.
Including the threats he made against me?
Well, he says he regrets that very much.
So do I.
Dorian, he holds no grudge against you. All he wants to do is live out the rest of his life with the people that he loves.
That's easy for him to say, but does he mean it?
The man doesn't even own a passport. I checked that out. He had no way of getting into the country, let alone pulling those tricks against you.
Maybe he hired somebody to do it.
No.
Well, if he didn't, that hardly makes my day.
I know what that means. Somebody else was signing Paul Kendall's name to all those threats.
Somebody who either was or was not prompted by revenge. I mean, it could be anybody for any reason.
I'm afraid so.
That terrifies me even more than when it was Paul Kendall. At least when we thought it was Paul, there was some sort of a purpose behind the threats. We had I'm really terrified now.
Dorian, take it easy. Look, what if I'll check the other list that we made up.
What list?
You know, the one with everybody that has some kind of a score to settle with.
I've done this for so long, and some of the people just have petty complaints against me.
It may be petty to you, but we're dealing with a sick mind here, remember? You don't know who might want to harm you. Dorian, it could be anyone. A cup of water for you. You feeling better?
Yes, a bit better, thank you. What's that? My enemy list?
Well, just some of the people that might have it in for Dorian Lord.
You know, that's what really worries me. I am a public person as well as a private person, and there could be any number of so-called celebrities who've been on my show who were offended by some question I asked them on air.
Yeah, but Dorian, we're not concerned with someone with a bruised ego. What we're looking for is someone with a bona fide reason to harm you.
Yes, but you said it yourself, didn't you? It could be a reason that it wouldn't be apparent to us, that simply exists in somebody's rather sick, tormented imagination.
Well, you're exactly right. But that someone can't just be anyone.
Why not?
Well, because someone has to know you very well. They have to know exactly when to strike and how. And that puts us in striking distance, too.
Oh, how comforting.
And it has to be someone who has easy access to both your apartment and here at the studio. In other words, Dorian, someone who's very, very close to you.
No, we've got to flush this person out of hiding.
Yeah, well, what if instead of flushing him out, you push him over the edge? What if he stops making threats and comes after you this time?
It's a chance I'm going to have to take. Besides, I've got you to protect him, don't I?
Dorian, come on, let's go. Excuse me, Mr. Russell, but we're way behind schedule, all right?
All right.
John, don't leave the studio. I want you here. I want you to hear the announcement that I'm going to make.
Excuse me, what announcement?
It's nothing to worry you, all right? I'm going to make a brief personal announcement at the top of the show before I interview the guest.
Another personal announcement.
Jim! This is my television show. This is my television station, remember?
Doesn't mean you can change the schedule like you change the shade of your lipstick.
I beg your pardon.
Dorian, I was hired to produce a responsible television show, not babysit your personal plaything.
It is a wonder I give you any responsibility at all. You fall apart at the slightest change of plan. I wouldn't let you babysit a real baby.
Well, believe me, I'm getting plenty of practice.
You know, it is no wonder that you're nothing more than a glorified gopher. And you will always be, because you have an attitude problem, sir.
My problem is Dorian Lord. And the only reason I don't rise higher in this organization is because you keep passing up my promotion.
Yes, for good reason.
Excuse me, you two. Don't you have a show to do?
As a matter of fact, we do. I seem to be ready. Crew seems to be ready. It's all up to Her Royal Highness. Excuse me.
You know, he really should learn to control his temper.
You don't exactly make it easy, you know.
Patty, yes, please. Thanks a lot. Would you mind stepping aside?
By all means, I'll break a leg.
Oh, don't say that. Someone may hear you. Makeup!
All right, quiet on the set now. We're going on the air.
Oh, dear.
10, 9, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dorian Lord, and welcome to View on Landview. Before I bring out my very special guest, I have an announcement to make. One which I'm sure you will all agree is terribly important. At least I am doing something positive about this.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Excuse me.
Indeed.
I'm going to let the DA's office know what's going on.
Oh, please, tell Herb about this. If he finds out on his own, he's going to want to lecture me, too.
Take care of that, but after I take you home, I'm not letting you out of my sight.
Oh.
That's some announcement. Look at that. I still have goosebumps.
Oh,
Leo, get her makeup off fast for me, will you? I want to get her home before the town hears all about this.
Oh, all right. And you don't... I'll have Leo to take care of me.
I'd like to see someone try to harm her while I have my trusty makeup case. You know, I keep a spare gun in there.
I know, I've noticed. Oh, why don't you call her? Get that over with now, all right?
All right, so hurry up, huh?
All right. You heard the man. Let's not keep him waiting.
Come on, we'll do it right over here. What? You're lucky to have such a loyal protector. Let's just hope we don't need him.
You and me both.
You know, you were really something going public with that terrifying story.
Leo, I have no choice. I have been tormented and tortured by this. It just comes a time when you have to put up your hand and say,
Oh, my hand!
Leo, what is it?
My hand is burning! My God, my hand is burning! Willie, help somebody! Please, my hand! What is it? What is it? Oh, what? The cold cream. There's something in the cold cream. My God, what happened?
Get to the hospital.
My car's right outside. Come on. That's all I have. Tell me I'm hungry. Yes, please.
You know what this means, don't you?
Yeah, it was meant for you.
That was meant to be on my face. It also means that whoever did it could be here. Right now, right here in this studio.
That must have made you so upset.
Upset? It was terrifying. For Leo's sake, I was terrified because, though apparently his hand is going to be all right. But for myself, because obviously that cold cream laced with acid was meant for me.
It certainly seems that way.
I know that you have a lot of questions that you need to ask me, and I'm so glad that Herb has assigned the district attorney's office to this case.
Well, Herb has been involved in this case since it happened. I mean, he's down at police headquarters right now.
Isn't it wonderful the way he springs to my defense? Now, if we could just find this cowardly fiend.
Dorian, you better brace yourself for a shock. We found the man who's terrorizing you.
If you want me to brace myself for a shock, it must be because it's somebody I know.
I'm afraid so.
Tell me, who is it?
Jim Watson.
My producer? No. Sorry, there has to be some mistake.
Well, the police found acid in his locker at WVLE, and clearly he had access to you here as well as the studio.
Well, he may have access to me, and he may have had the means, but why would he have the motive? I mean, why would Jim want to pose as Paul Kendall in order to terrorize
Well,
me?
I can think of one reason. Didn't you two have an argument yesterday?
Yes, how did you hear about that? We had an argument, but there's nothing unusual about that. Jim and I fight all the time. It's one of the perks of his job.
Well, apparently he took it as more than a perk. Now, you had an argument about his promotion, right?
Yes. Look, he's always complaining about that.
Yes, he was also agitated about your last-minute changes at yesterday's show.
How do you know all about this? You've been talking to Jonathan.
When you try to establish motive, you have to talk to a lot of people. Now, is the information correct or not?
Yes, the information is correct. Jim and I did have an argument about his promotion, but that's a monthly occurrence. He also became, as you say, agitated because of some changes I made in the show, but there's nothing unusual about that either.
Now, Dorian, I know it must be hard for you to accept the truth.
It's hard for me to accept the truth because it cannot be the truth. I'm sorry. I have worked with Jim for years, and we have our fights like in any partnership, but I trust him completely.
Now, Dorian, you are outlining the perfect suspect. Somebody who knows you, someone you know, and someone who shares your confidence and trust.
Jim?
I know it must come as a terrible shock to you, but your ordeal is over. You can live a normal life again. You won't need police protection or private investigation. As a matter of fact, you won't be needing Jonathan Russell anymore.